It's daytime TV. I'm like, this could be on or off. Either way, I don't give a fuck. But she was having a great time. She was peeing on my chest and on my crotch and calling me names. This is being filmed, and
G'day guys, and welcome to In the Zone, the show where we talk comedy with comedians. I am here today with the lovely Blake Freeman. Mate, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Not a problem. So, tell us a bit about how you got started into comedy.
I got started in comedy when my best friend, when I was 17, Mike Russell, wanted to do stand-up, and he was like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this open mic, do you want to come? And I was like, well, if you sign up, I'll do it as well. And I did a gig, and I had a lot of fun. He did not, but he's been very supportive on my journey.
I've seen a bit of your stuff.
Oh, really?
I've seen a little bit, yeah. And I've noticed that you're a kind of guy who's into the whole story time thing. Now, what is it about stories that kind of gets you going? What is it about?
I think, to be perfectly honest, I think what it is I'm 22, and I don't think I should go on stage and be like, I'm a 22-year-old and here's my opinion on how the world works, like, because everyone will be like, you're such a dope. So I like telling stories, and also, like, I mean, it's fun to tell a story and then someone can like connect to it in some way, even if it is like real silly. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's mainly got to do with I don't value my 22-year-old opinion. So about 2 years ago, my partner at the time, I came home and she was in bed with another guy, which is pretty rough. And so I left and I went to a because it had been weird if I'd stayed. Like, if I was just like, move over, daddy's tired. Like, so I went to a friend's house in Coburg and I just had a text from my mum that just said, how was your night? And I just like told her everything that happened. And then the one and only thing that my mum wrote back, so this is what I mean when I say she's just, the one and only thing that my mum wrote back was dog act. Like, I just love that that's my mum trying to be supportive. Like, most mums, I'd imagine, would have been like, oh my God, what can I do? What do you need? My mum was like, fuck that, let's get her. Like,
tell us a little bit about the Comedy Zone for people who don't actually know about it.
Comedy Zone is a show that the festival puts on at Trades Hall every year. It's like 5 of the top young up-and-comers in the country. You're like hand-selected by the festival. So yeah, it's basically sort of that kind of show. It's like we all get like 10 minutes, there's an MC, and yeah, it's a really good show. Flyering is basically you're sort of just handing out like little pieces of paper with the show and show description, and you try and hustle people, like you try and pitch your show and get them to buy tickets and come along and stuff. And so it's good because you can just get people who are walking past to, like, if you can get someone interested in a show when they're like on their way home, like that's awesome. Like you've now got more people and hopefully they like the show. But flyering can be brutal as well. Like people will be like, no, when you're like, hey, I've got a passion and I would really like it if you could support it, and they're like, no. But yeah, it's basically just like trying to hustle people into your show kind of thing.
I know that doing comedy isn't easy, you know, facing hundreds of people who are strangers, making them laugh every night. It's kind of a tricky gig, but yeah. What kind of motivates you to keep doing what you do?
When you go on like a stretch of having like bad gig after bad gig, like 10 bad gigs in a row, and then you just have that one like awesome gig, that is what it's worth it. Like when you just like have that one gig where as soon as you get on stage and just everything is working and you can like riff with the crowd and it's going real well, like the feeling afterwards is like a high. Like it's like so awesome, that. And also like friendship. I love hanging out with comedians.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
Real.
You know,
yeah.
got to do a bit of bonding here and there. It's
yeah.
good. It's good.
And I just started to think about how weird our relationship now is, because within the space of like 5 minutes, right, I'd learned about his passion in life, I'd seen his dick and I'd broken his heart. Like, that's real love.
What advice do you have for any aspiring comedians that might be watching this?
Do as many gigs as possible and work as hard as you possibly can. Like, just keep working, keep going to gigs. That's probably the best advice you could give anyone. Because like the more you're on stage, the better you get on stage. Like the more you do gigs, the more comfortable you look on stage. And even if you're not, like you're still new, so the material's not amazing yet, you can like, you just look good and you look confident and you have like stage presence, and that is fun to watch. So like, yeah, it would just be like, do as many gigs as possible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yes.
Thank you.